Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being a part of Gammon's Theological Seminary's annual CPE Day. We are grateful that you are here with us this morning. Please bear with us. We are trying out a new technology, so I guess we are the guinea pigs this morning. But I just want to give some instructions to all of our presenters this morning, and basically for our participants too. So what will take place, we will go by the schedule this morning, and after we have all the presentations, then all the presenters will go into a separate room where our students and anyone that's online that's interested in CPE. So we're getting ready we're already live, but what we're going to do too is go ahead and get ready to connect into Zoom. I cannot see you actually right now, but I'll be seeing you in a few minutes. One of the things I do want you to know, just to update you on a little bit of information, what's going on at Gammon. First of all, just to put on your calendars, we're looking at our CPE Day next year to be October the 28th, 2021. It sounds kind of strange saying 21, but that's what it will be. I want to take the time out to thank all the presenters, that the ACPE presenters that are here, educators, administrators, and chaplains. Thank you for being a part of this event this morning, and we're looking forward to getting the information that you have to share with us. Also, just in case you don't know, last year, Gammon opened up a Center for Chaplaincy, and basically that Center for Chaplaincy is a resource center. So if you have any flyers or brochures or information that you would like to share, if you could also send those to me. Our address is going to be at the bottom of the screen. Also, if you have some information that you want to get to the students and anyone that's on this platform this morning, if you will email that to me, I will send it out to all the participants this morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to bring on our interim president dean, Reverend Dr. Joseph Crawford. We're going to go ahead and have our prayer this morning. I don't know. I guess something is going on with either the platform or Dr. Godman is not on right now. So let us just pray. Let's just take a moment and pray. Oh God, we're so grateful that you allowed us to see a new day, God, even in the midst of challenges that the world is going through, God. But we know that you are still looking high and that you are still looking low and that you are still our God. God, we thank you for your grace and mercy that you continue to give us. We thank you for all the people that are on this platform this morning, God. Even in the midst of trials and tribulations, God, we continue to still be your servants. So, God, be with us this morning, God. And God, there is someone that is dealing with illness in their body this morning. And God, we just ask you to bless them, God, and to heal them, God, because we know that you are the doctor, God, and you are the one that bring healing to our body. And God, as we continue to go through the election, God, we know that you will be over it too, God, as you see fit. So, God, be with us, bless us, and guide us, and give us the vision for your kingdom. This is our prayer. Amen. Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Sorry
Yes.
about the technical difficulties this morning. We're trying something new out, and so you know how it is when you try something new out. So I think that we should be all hooked up into Zoom with our participants that registered for this event. I'm just trying to check and see if I have a few more people on here. If not, what I will probably do is just call you out to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for being a part of this and taking the time out of your busy schedule this morning. I'm sure some of us stayed up pretty late last night. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, since I could not actually see the screen, we're going to go ahead with our presenters. Do we have Reverend Dr. Cynthia Vaughn with us this morning? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go with, I'm trying to just go down the line. We're going to go ahead and go with, do we have Chaplain Crenshaw with us this morning? Okay, I'm sure
I
they're
am
going to be.
here. Hear me?
Okay, good morning, Chaplain Crenshaw.
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, I just can't see you. But that's okay. We're going
I
to go
can
ahead
see
and get,
everyone else.
okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with you. Thank you for being here with us this morning.
Okay.
And just want to recognize that you are the class of 2016 Gammon Theological Seminary. So what I am asking
Yeah.
everybody to do is to give about 2 or 3 minutes information regarding the programs and a little bit of your experience if you have a little time to do that.
Well, I just want to first thank you, Minister Bennefield. I had asked at the last minute, and you had graciously allowed me to share. So I just thank you so much. And it is good to see where I had seen so many other faces, Sam, and so many others I know, and it's good to see you all's faces. So I just want to say thank you. My name is Chaplain Crenshaw from River Grace Hospice. I'm I'm home care. Began about 2 years ago, September. The internship at a Letter Center, Fan South. Then I did a residency at Children's Health. Got home care chaplain with Harbor Grace for 2 years. I am enjoying it. I asked to be a part of this because I wanted to share about hospice services. I am a chaplain, a home care chaplain. I get the honor and privilege of going to patients' homes and being with them as they're dying. And as we know, as I share with families, as someone is being born, that is sacred and holy, and as someone is dying as well, that is sacred and holy. And so I just wanted to share about hospice services and maybe even have students from Gammon to come and volunteer. I do know in hospice services, I believe Georgia is the only state that requires that hospices have a chaplain, which to me is a good thing. They understand the need for a chaplain in hospice services. And to me, hospice services are sacred. It's truly a holy referral service that we have for patients in their last moments, and we get to work with nurses and social workers, and we're truly, as all of us have been on the front lines as chaplains in the midst of COVID. I mean, we get to be with patients, and I really just want to teach and have other students at Gammon come volunteer, hopefully of um, be a part of us here at Harbor Grace Hospice. Excuse the phone you making here. But I just, as a chaplain, I get to teach families about the dying process. Most people are scared of it, but chaplain, I learned in CPE about the dying process, and so I have the privilege of teaching families about the holy process of it, and to me, it's a great service. And so I would love to have others at Gammon to come and be a part, so maybe I can teach them and they can be a part of hospice service and what we offer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to now have another one of our alumni from 2012, Reverend Kimberlyn Sinkfield, to give us some information about Metro Transitional Center Chaplain. And then maybe she can share, because I know there's been some different things that have taken place over at Metro Transitional Center, but I do know there's other places besides there that you can serve in the prison ministry. Reverend Kimberlyn.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. I was the previous chaplain at Metro Transitional Center. I arrived there through CPE. Once I graduated from Gammon in 2012, I then began a CPE internship there. One thing that I would like to note is that that was the last thing that I wanted to do. I thought that prison chaplaincy was somebody else's calling. I was drawn more to hospital chaplaincy, but during the course of my time at Gammon and ITC, even in taking intro to clinical pastoral education, I did my intro at Wendy Hill Wellstar. And so I was more drawn to hospital chaplaincy, but people kept coming up to me, teachers, former students, other colleagues in ministry, saying that they felt that I had a calling or would be good with prison chaplaincy. And eventually I prayed about that, and God did direct me to only apply to CPE at the prison. And at that time, there was a grant that allowed for prison chaplaincy CPE at Lee Arundel State Prison as well as Metro State Prison, and the reentry program at Metro Transitional Center. So I applied only there and, of course, was accepted into the program. And after the internship over the summer, I realized that this was the best opportunity I could have ever happened upon, and found a passion for working with women who were incarcerated. Then from there, went on to do a residency at Metro Transitional Center. And once the grant funding ran out, I was picked up by a ministry called Heartbound Ministries to continue to remain a chaplain, because there were state chaplains that were in place in prisons within the state of Georgia. The CPE program had ended, and transitional centers were on the periphery, and they did not have the funding for putting chaplains into transitional centers. And transitional centers within the state of Georgia were primarily for helping women and men to be reacclimated into society. It gave them the opportunity to get jobs so that they could go out and actually earn money that would be put on their books so that when they actually were released from prison, they had money to begin their lives again. And I found that to be the most valuable work that I have done to date. I was at Metro Transitional Center a total of 5 years. Right after graduation from Gammon in 2012, I also became a part-time local pastor. So I was doing both at the same time, which was quite a bit. But because you're passionate about something, it doesn't seem like a job. It seems like a calling. And everyone knows that those who are behind bars can be hopeless. And the role of a chaplain in a prison is just to have no judgment towards them. I never asked them why they were there. I built rapport with them, was able to become the person that they were able to confide in. I was amazed at how many women actually shared their trauma with me for the first time, things that had happened to them in their childhood that they had never spoke about to anyone else in their lives. But in doing so, that helped with the healing process and helping them to be different from when they entered into prison. So now there are still opportunities with COVID. There's been some limited things because they've had to be very careful about who enters in and how often, but prison chaplaincy is always something that's needed. And it is a calling because everyone is not called to be in a pulpit, but there are other areas, and CPE is a way to make sure that you're still fulfilling your call in places that are still important to God. And prison, of course, is one of those. So I'll leave that there.
Thank you, Reverend Kimberlyn, for that information and the importance on prison ministry. We're going to go ahead now and have Reverend Dr. Lyn Pace, who is campus chaplain at Oxford College of Emory University, and he also serves on the board for the Center for Chaplaincy at Gammon Theological Seminary.
Thank you so much, Minister Bennefield. It's good to see you and others on the panel. As Brenda said, my name is Lyn Pace, and I'm the college chaplain at Oxford College of Emory University, which is a 2-year branch of Emory University located in Oxford, Georgia, about 36 miles east of Atlanta, where Emory was born, actually, in 1836. I have been at Oxford now. I'm in my 12th year, and I did 6 years prior to that in college chaplaincy, so that it has really been my career in college chaplaincy. I was, as part of my Methodist ordination before going into this work, asked to do a unit of CPE. So I've done that in my background. And I think I'm here today as a member of the board, but also to just sort of offer another form of chaplaincy that's out there, college and university chaplaincy. Which has been really meaningful work for me, because the sort of thrust of that work is to be there for anyone within the campus or college community, and then especially students, to be a space of hospitality for students, to be a space of pastoral care, and then maybe the most important, helping them connect their faith and their values while they're in college, providing ways for them to practice their traditions, learn about traditions. And one of the best parts of my work is to have the chance to interact with students from all walks of life. So, and all different backgrounds and traditions. My work is, as a Christian, I identify as a Christian, but my work is to support all of our students, no matter their background or religious tradition or belief, and help them practice their faith and make meaning in the world. And I value the CPE experience that I received as preparation for this work and for ministry in general. And I'm delighted to be here representing the board and to offer this other form of chaplaincy. So I'll be in a breakout room later, and I'm happy to answer any questions related to college or university chaplains and what the process is like to sort of get into that work. Thank you.
Thanks, Lyn. It's good to see you this morning also. So now we're going to move on to our U.S. Army chaplains, Staff Sergeant John Howard, who I've come to know over the last few years and have enjoyed his company, and Captain Leland Jones. So we're going to hear from the U.S. Army and have them to give us some information about their chaplaincy programs.
Good morning. For those of you who are there, just want to share this very clear insight. For one, chaplaincy takes on so many different forms. With the various individuals who are tuning in because you want to know what to do with this particular educational background, as well as the responsibility as to making the most of it to be used by God, you're going to be listening at the hospital elements. It's needed. We've looked at also the corrections facilities. It's needed. Educational, it's needed. I am a chaplain here in the Georgia Army National Guard, but I also serve as a pastor in Southwest Atlanta. Fact is I'm also a chaplain with the sports teams down at Tuskegee University. What I'm saying to you is this: the challenge and the joy of the education is great, but get out there and use it, because there's somebody who truly needs the blessings of what God is pouring into you. And to know that there are so many various forms of ministry, don't let anyone tell you what is most important. Lean to God and go in the route that God is sending you. With the Georgia Army National Guard, there is an opportunity. And here's where I'm going to introduce you to Brother Howard, who is our staff sergeant who processes all of the packets and the paperwork. Let him give you the nuts and bolts.
Well, if you're interested in it, just come to our breakout room, and then I will explain the details better. But the thing is for us, you can serve as a chaplain and maintain a church, or even work in other chaplaincies, other places. We're just an extension of the ministry that God has called you to. So if you're interested, just give us a shout out in the break room, and I'll be glad to talk with you further.
Thank you all for that information. Let me just do a check-in real quick. Do we have Reverend Cynthia Vaughn on yet? Just want to check. Is Reverend Cynthia Vaughn on? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep moving, and we're going to hear from C.G. Jim, who's an ACPE associate educator at spiritual health at Emory Health. And then we're going to also hear with Reverend Dr. Bridget Piggue, who is a 2013 alum. She's the director of spiritual health and a CPE certified educator with Emory University Hospital Midtown. So we will hear from both of them. Now, I think that they were with us on Zoom. So if we could make sure that we are connected with them on Zoom. I know that they are here. Okay, well, we'll give them a few minutes. Let us go ahead and move on to Samantha Snellgrove, which I do see her. She is a CPE and bereavement chaplain, and she's with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So good morning, everybody. I serve in sort of a unique role at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta in the sense that I am not a CPE educator. I'm representing us on behalf of our educator, Rosalind Curry. I serve in sort of a hybrid role. I am a staff chaplain. I'm specifically assigned to work with our CPE program. So I have an administrative and a CPE clinical role. I help do everything from answer inquiries about our application process. I help process our CPE applications, participate in the interview process, and do all of our CPE orientation when students join us. And then I provide a source of clinical support to our students once they arrive. So I'm kind of involved in everything except for the group and supervision time. So it's it's a nice hybrid. I served as a staff chaplain here at Children's for over 10 years before moving into this role. So I use my clinical experience to help support our students on their CPE journey here at Children's. This environment is unique in the sense that we only serve pediatric patients from birth, and that includes premature infants, all the way to age 22. And we have 2 campuses. We have the Eggleston campus, which is near Emory, and that's where our interns train. And then we have our Scottish Rite campus on the north end of the perimeter. That is where our residents train. So we have, to give anybody who's interested in CPE, just a little bit about our programs. So we offer CPE internships in the fall and in the spring. Those are both extended units that are part-time, and they give you 1 unit of CPE. And then we have an intensive summer program that is full-time, so a shorter amount of time that you're here, also giving you 1 unit of CPE, and then a year-long paid residency program. And that requires you to have 1 unit of CPE before applying, and that gives you an additional 4 units of CPE. And that runs from August to August, so an entire calendar, or an entire sort of academic year. I can, in the breakout group, I can give you more information about our application process, more information about staff chaplaincy. That's part of the advantage, is that having staff chaplain experience, kind of have been through the process of what it's like to become a hospital staff chaplain. I'm board certified through the Association of Professional Chaplains. And through my time, or my tenure as a staff chaplain, really where you see the bereavement chaplain in my role and title, this is a hybrid position where I'm also working with bereavement and developing some bereavement programs at our center, and have a passion for the death, dying, bereavement process, and was able to be certified in that. So I affirm what everybody else has already shared, that there are so many avenues to what a chaplain is and looks like, and where you serve. And in this place, it's particularly unique and tender, because we're dealing with pediatric patients and families who never anticipate that they're going to have to be here with their child, and walking through that journey with them through some of the hardest and darkest moments of their life, and reminding them that they're not alone, and reminding them that the sacred is all around them. So it's a privilege. Several of the faces that are with us today are former students, so it's really exciting to see them here and serving in different roles across the state and country. So I'm just happy to be with everyone. And if anybody has any specific questions, join me in the breakout room. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Samantha. It's good to hear of the great work that's happening over at the Children's Healthcare. And what I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to hear from Anna. Anna, how do you pronounce your last name? I don't like to get people's names wrong.
It's Lautenschlager, which I know seems a little aggressive.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and hear from you. I'm glad that we connected this morning. I know that coming on at the last minute, it can be a challenge sometimes. And so what we're going to do also, I want to let those people that's on Zoom know that as soon as we finish with everyone that's on this platform, we're going to close out and go into Zoom, and then that way we'll be connected with all the presenters and everyone. And so I'll be happy when I can see everyone. So we're going to go ahead and let you give us some information about the program there.
Great. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to join last minute. I'm Anna Lautenschlager, and I am the CPE administrator at CRIS 180. We are a relatively new iteration of our program. The Care and Counseling Center of Georgia folded in January, and we scooped up that accreditation and have continued the great work that our sites are doing. A little bit about me: I love chaplaincy. I love all of the forms that it takes, but personally, I'm really drawn to hospital chaplaincy and CPE as an educational process. I think it's such a great resource and experience for anybody going into any form of ministry. And so I'm really excited to be a part of a program that gives that rich educational experience to the folks who want it. A little bit about our program. Like Sam was saying, we kind of follow a similar structure. We offer internships that are extended in the fall and the spring, an intensive in the summer, and a year-long residency. And we also offer second-year residencies as well. Our satellites are Northside Hospital Atlanta, Northside Hospital Gwinnett, And in the summers, which is really exciting, we offer community placements through Chris 180, which if you're not sure what Chris 180 is, it's a great nonprofit here in Atlanta. And our students who have done the community placements have worked with our group homes, our At Promise Center, the Westside Empowerment Center, and the At Promise Center. So it's, again, a really rich experience. It allows for a lot of creativity. And I'm happy to talk more about it in the breakout room, but I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited that we get to celebrate CPE today in chaplaincy. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. I see we've had some more presenters to join us. We're going to go ahead and let them speak, and then we're going to all go into Zoom where we can all be together. Is now I see that Reverend Dr. Gottman has joined us. And I know that, like I said, we've had some difficulties. And what I want him to do is at the end, before we go into the Zoom, is, well, what we'll do, we'll just wait till the end and we'll let him do a closing prayer. But I would like for him to share with us, since he's the Associate Professor of Pastoral Care and Counseling, and the Associate Vice President of Student Services at ITC and the Dean of Students, just to share a little bit about what you teach over at ITC.
Yes, good morning, and thank you, Mr. Bennefield, for this opportunity, and grateful to be with you all. As Associate Professor of Pastoral Care and Counseling, I have the opportunity to teach, introduce oftentimes persons and students to the discipline of pastoral care and pastoral counseling while they're discerning the call of God and grace and moves of the Spirit in their lives and looking for direction. And there's that process ultimately helping them to be exposed more deeply to themselves in a way that is beneficial and useful, primarily to them, and then second to the communities in which they minister and service. So I'm excited about that. I'm also a chaplain, and so there's some adjustments to the intro bio material. I'm chaplain at ITC, and I've been chaplain at ITC for near 10 years. And that opportunity, again, practical from the classroom to the practical engagement of students and personnel, administration and staff and faculty, planning of worship, the cross-section of spiritual engagement. So as a chaplain position function, really centralizing, crystallizing the ethos of ITC, but also creating opportunity for persons to connect strategically with where they are in their families, in their parishes, in the larger culture, again, making it applicable. And so as working with students and student care, they have this opportunity to literally see people grow, which is just absolutely exciting. See people grow and mature, and then get this kind of personal enjoyment for those who start the process and anxious around chaplaincy, which I can and CPE particularly I can identify with, but then come to find that they love it, and that really is the call of God. So I in their life and move in spirit. So I was just extremely excited. And I have multiple opportunities to engage folk, and that's just wonderful.
Well, thank you, Dr. Godman, for that information. So students, if you haven't had a chance to take his class, I hope that you will. One of the things that I do know that being a minister, that CPE is important. Being a minister as a clergy person going into the church and parish ministry and outside, I would advise everybody that's in the ministry to do a CPE class and do the units, because it's very important. They work hand in hand. It's my understanding now that we do have Reverend Dr. Bridget Piggue, who is a 1993 alumni. So we're glad to have her. And then we also have CG Jim that's with us. So we're going to hear from both of them.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Bridget Piggue. I serve as the Director of Spiritual Health at Emory University Hospital Midtown, one of the many sites that we have. at Emory. I will just quickly give you a list of those places. We are happy to walk alongside with co-learners in helping you to explore what things inform your ministry and your ways of approaching the care that you offer others. We're very particular about seeing you as our colleagues and part of the professional team, the interdisciplinary team. We take seriously, Emory takes very seriously that you are the spiritual health clinicians to help offer your insights and your care as a valuable part of the dialogue. Our sites include Emory Midtown, Emory Clifton, Emory Johns Creek, Wesley Woods, Emory DeKalb Operating Unit. We don't have CPE at our Emory Orthopedic and Spine Hospital, but is another one of our locations. And I'm going to ask CG to help me if I've left some places out and to add her voice. We do have a brochure, and we're able to talk to you about our intensive CPE, our extended CPE units in the summer and throughout the year. CG, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so glad to finally be seen.
Can't hear you. Can't hear.
Begin, and I serve as the CPE manager here at Emory DeKalb Operating Unit, and that includes 3 hospitals: Emory Decatur Hospital, Emory Hellendale Hospital, and Emory Long-Term Care Center, and also in Decatur. I don't think Bridget has forgot. I don't think she's forgot any locations. I'd be happy to expound upon the characteristics of each site if you'd like when we break out into the into groups. I fell in love with CPE when I first heard from my internship educator, Chaplain Jim, I don't think you're very comfortable with hearing your own voice. And that really resonated with me and impacted me. And I could see how that dynamic or relationship with myself and my own voice was impacting the way I offer care to patients, family, and staff. So that's how I got started on my journey. And I've learned so much about myself and integrating my authentic self into the care practice that I offer, as well as now that I am a fully certified ACP educator, I'm able to have that same integration work or approach my co-learners, the residents and interns, the same opportunity to see themselves and see how it relates to the work that they do. So I'm really glad to be here. I look forward to talking with many of you in the breakout room.
I have one more thing to add. Thank you, CG. I have one more thing to add, and I would just say that we do have a Winship Cancer Center. Again, not CPE there yet, but it's coming. And the last thing I want to say is how important it is. My beginning with CPE, I was at the ITC, and I started in 1990. And I think the second year I was there, when I was introduced to one of the pastoral care courses, I concentrated in pastoral care and became very aware of CPE and group work. I was hooked right away. So ITC was my ground and my grounding, and it has been a wonderful lead into my vocation and my call.
Thank you both. Thank you both. Some great information. We're going to move on now to Reverend Myisha Phillip Stapleton. She is with Grady Health Center. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces this morning. I've also graduated from ITC as well, Phillip School of Theology in 2014. And I had the opportunity to start out my CPE journey after I graduated. So I did my internship at Grady, my first year residency at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta in Eggleston. And then I came back to Grady for my second year for residency. And I'm trying to be an educator right now, so I'm doing the aspirant or educator process itself. Let's see, for CPE, I loved it. I fell in love with it, especially when I had a lot of relatives go in and out of the hospital when I was younger. And there was a chaplain there to support me, a chaplain there to bring me comfort and help me understand a lot of things that were going on with my relatives. So I knew then it's like something I could give back to and something I could do myself. And then oftentimes, as I continued to grow in life, I was back in the hospital again for other relatives. And the NICU was one of the centers that I work at now at Grady. I'm a staff chaplain for the NICU, neonatal ICU, and for neuro ICU. So I feel like I'm giving back again with my family as I'm with families that have preemies. And it's a great opportunity just to be with someone, to journey with someone that's hurting, and they're not aware what the next thing may be for their child. And you're with them, giving them as best you can. Also, in addition to the NICU, Grady has the trauma center, the Marcus Trauma Center. Grady also has the burn center, the burn unit, the Marcus Stroke Center, behavioral health. There's so many units that you can see where you see fit that can actually impact the ministry. If you decide to do CPE here at Grady, we have several staff chaplains that are here that specialize in IDP, the Infectious Disease Program, and palliative care. You name it, it's probably here. The Georgia Cancer Center of Excellence as well. So there's a lot of diversity here if you're interested in Grady, and I look forward to being the breakout room for you to answer any questions you may have about it. Also, another thing to add is my experience with CPE was you pretty much, you're looking back on your history, or you're looking back on your past. And as you're moving forward, you're trying to see how it's impacting you today, on why the things that you do, why you care the way that you care, why you respond the way that you respond. So you definitely get an experience of Sankofa. Look forward to hear from you soon. Peace and blessings.
Thank you very much, Myisha. We're going to go ahead and move on. I think we still have one or two people that's on this platform. We're going to go ahead and hear from, I don't think we've heard from Reverend, let's see, Chaplain Sam Chinn, is it? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Bennefield, for, boy, I know that I snuck in under the radar as well. It sounds like I wasn't the only one, but I'm so grateful to be a part of the CPE day today. I'm joining you from Jacksonville, Florida, but did a lot, in fact, the bulk of my training in Atlanta. I'm a McAfee graduate of 2014, and then had the privilege of doing my first CPE unit as an intern the summer of 2013 at Grady. And then liked it so much, I came back for a residency year from fall of 15 to fall of 16, and then started a second year residency at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So joined Myisha and some others in saying, hey, it's so good to see all of you familiar faces. I began at Baptist Health here in Jacksonville, Florida in May of 2017 under the old supervisory process for the ACPE. And on a personal note, I covet any prayers that you'd be willing to offer. On November 17th, I meet with my committee, and with their blessing, will be a full certified educator come the middle of this month under the new certification process with ACPE. So excited, nervous, all of that. So it would be hard to say anything new about why chaplaincy, why CPE, and why hospital chaplaincy in particular, but I'll say something a little bit more personal for me, which is that I was introduced to this, but didn't yet have language for it when I began at Grady, and have continued to hone. For me, the sacred image that comes to mind of Moses standing before the burning bush in the book of Exodus, that God commands Moses to take off his sandals, for the ground on which he treads is hallowed, right? And my experience of joining a patient, a family member, a care provider in in their day-to-day, in their crisis, in their celebration, is an opportunity to step into that sacred space. And for me, hospital ministry in particular is goodness, offers an opportunity of breadth, in the different clinical placements, the circumstances in which we may engage people, and also depth. Folks come to the hospital in the best and worst days of their lives, right? So that's a little bit more personal. I'd love to speak more specifically about Baptist Health and why Jacksonville, Florida. I will say, for me, what drew me to Jacksonville was, among some other things, we have an awesome diversity in our clinical placements. We have 5 different clinical sites. We offer internships, residencies, and, as you can see, a certified educator process. And then, we have a fantastic diversity both in our clinical population, the patients and families that come to us at Baptist, and in our population of students that we pull from. We're not around a local seminary like Atlanta is. And so we pull from various faith groups in our community who want to train their clergy through CPE, and then also have the opportunity to pull from out of town. So I can speak more specifically to Baptist, like I said, in the breakout room, but I don't know, it's Baptist Health's focus on our community, the well-being of Jacksonville, and this health system's concern for the whole person, both the patient in their care and the CPE student even. How is it that your spirit is engaged in the work that you do that drew me to Jacksonville? So I'd love to talk more about that.
Thank you, and thank you for being with us this morning. We're going to go ahead and move on. I know we do have Patricia, is it Symonette? Okay. And I know some of her colleagues are trying to get on, and I think they're on Zoom. Karen Miller, who's the director of CPE Training and Counseling Center at St. Luke's, and then Lauren Ellis, who is a CPE administrator, and then Jean Williams Beto. And then it looks like we have one more person, Song Hee Han. I'm not sure if they're able to get on this platform, but if they're not, we will give them a chance to speak after we hear from Patricia. Then we will all just switch over to the Zoom link that you received, and that will link us up to everyone that's a part of this platform. And then when we do that, we're going to have Dr. Godman to close us out in prayer before we go into the breakout rooms. So if we could go ahead and hear from Chaplain Patricia Symonette, that would be great.
Okay, good morning to everyone. Hi. I think Karen is here with us as well. Karen, can you hear me?
She's in Zoom, so they can't.
Yeah,
okay.
So we'll pick them
All
up
right.
in Zoom.
All right. So hi, everybody. I'm Patricia Symonette, and I serve as Director for Spiritual Health over at Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center, downtown and South campuses. I'm also a certified educator, and I've been doing CPE for a long time. I did my internship at Metro State Women's Prison and Northside Hospital. And I did my, there's a lot of feedback. I'm hearing a lot of feedback from the Zoom.
Let's make sure everybody's on mute. Go ahead, please.
I've been a certified educator in the process since 2012. And so I'm really happy to be here today. Wellstar is a very unique hospital. We have 11 different facilities throughout Georgia. And we are contracted with the Training and Counseling Center at St. Luke's with Karen Miller and Dorothea Lautenschlager, who's the executive director there. And I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I'm sorry. But anyway, it's good to see all of you. I'm just going to stop and we'll talk more when we get into the breakout rooms. Some of my colleagues were here with us earlier, Sungi, but had to leave. But we will join you in the breakout sessions because I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry for the noise that you are hearing in the background. I think that's why we had went to the two platforms where you wouldn't be getting that feedback. I think that everyone that's on this platform we've heard from. So what we're going to do is ask everybody to close out of this platform and to go into Zoom. And then that way we'll be all together. And if Karen Miller is there and some of the other folks from TACC, we'll be able to hear from them. So if you will close out of this platform and go into Zoom, then we'll all be together. Thank you.